Welcome back, folks. Well, it's Saturday. I think it's a balmy 16 degrees outside with our snowmageddon, but it's nice and warm. I've got my short sleeve shirt on out here because our split unit over here we had installed last year, bought that off Amazon, and our Dynaglow that I bought off Amazon about 2 years ago is keeping it nice and toasty in here. So if you ever want to heat up your shop, let me know. These things, I can give you feedback if you want. They really work well. But back to the Barracuda. This is some of the tedious stuff that slows you way down, but it is way important. So what I'm working on now is running a fuse between my battery and my starter. So this is from American Auto Wire, and they're assuming that my battery is probably going to be up here back in the stock location, but it is not. My battery has been relocated to the trunk. So I have basically, I don't know how many feet that is, but that's a long ways from the battery all the way up to where it's going to go to the starter. Now I don't have the transmission here yet. I'm about to order it, but the starter is going to be in the stock location. I believe, yes, I believe it's going to be in the stock location. So at this point, I've got my main wire going directly back to the battery. Now it's going to be cut in half, or cut where the starter is going to be located, but we're just kind of inching up on this as we go. I bought a 200 amp fuse. Let's go back here and show you what I got. So this is from American Auto Wire. I bought an extra one from Summit, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the main power wire that's coming from the front of the car to this side of the fuse, and then I'm going to go from this side of the battery, from the positive side of the battery, to here. As you all well know why I'm doing that. I don't want, in case anything were to happen, I don't want a torch going down the road. The other wires you see right here from the Terminator, I go exactly how Holley wants me to do it. When I'm doing a Sniper or a Terminator, I'm going to have to lengthen these wires, and they're going to go directly to the battery. Directly to the battery. They're not going to the fuse and the ground. They're going directly to the battery. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing mounted, and I'm hoping I'm going to have probably, I'm going to reroute this, and it's going to come up through one of my bulkheads. It's going to be close where that fuel tank's at, but that's where I plan on going right now. Now you guys tell me in the comments where you would route the wiring. I do like it going across the frame rails, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to have enough room to come from the frame rails all the way back and around. So yes, I could buy a whole new thing of extra with zero gauge wire. Is maybe what I'm going to do. I don't know, but let's get this thing going. Let's see what it starts looking like as we go. If I need to make changes, I'll do that. So let's get started. Okay, not fun, not glamorous, but safe, and now I can sleep at night. So yes, now we've got our 200 amp fuse mounted and hooked up. You see all the extra slack I have now? Yes, I am going to cut that. I wanted all the extra slack I could get, so once the transmission's in and the starter's in, I can cut, and I'm not going to have to buy any more zero gauge wire. That's a great thing. So also, I feel 10 times better now that I have a fuse. So now, get this sucker on there somehow, some way. Yep. There it is. So now, we've got to go ahead and get our Terminator mounted to the battery. Not to the fuse box, not to this ground, to the battery. So let's figure out, start landing this wire coming from the Terminator. Obviously, I'm going to have to lengthen it, but I want to make sure I kind of start routing it where it needs to be. All right, I know it doesn't seem like much, but it is. So got this pretty much complete. Yes, there's slack. That's what I need once we get the starter in the car. But now we got direct power to the Terminator. This is our main power feed to the Terminator. It's going directly to the battery. Again, I can't emphasize how important that is. People on the snipers, Terminators, they just find a hot spot that, oh, it's got juice. Well, what happens, what I was taught at Holley by Tom Keiss is, and it makes sense, this battery, this cube, this big battery acts as a filter, like an electronic filter. So it gets rid of all that noise and everything that goes into that computer. And I think if you look at your OEMs, they're pretty close to doing the same thing. I think the computer is pretty close to being hooked up directly to the battery, if not very close. But anywho, that part is done. So on to the next task. All right, so now we're back on the front of the car. Again, getting wiring done, getting stuff out of our way. So remember a couple of episodes a few episodes ago, I talked about the Holley Sniper, the Holley Terminator X and X Max and Sniper being able to talk to your Dakota digital gauges. I know my friends that do a lot of square body LS conversions, they were talking about this years ago, so I'm way behind the curve on this. But what it is, it's the BIM-01-2- Holley. Remember we talked about ordering that? So I just got this from Dakota Digital, and this basically shows a couple of different harnesses. But from what I can make out, these are the only instructions that we have. But from what I can make out is this harness here is going to plug over into where our handheld would go to. Normally, if you ran a handheld on this Terminator, it would plug into this, just like on a Sniper. It's your CAN bus, they call it. So this right here, this is the male, and it's going to plug into your CAN bus, just like that. I say just like that. So there it goes into the little tabs, little snaps right there. Here's one thing I'm confused about. I do not know for the life of me what this other one is identical to this, to the one coming off the Terminator. It's for something, but I'll have to call Dakota Digital and ask them. But now this is going to go through our firewall. We're going to find a grommet somewhere to run this through. This will hook into the BIM module, which is here. That will plug into here. This is your input. And then they say it doesn't matter, you can run either one of these plugs. This is going to be the output. This is the output that's going to go into our module, the original Dakota Digital module. So let me run this thing through somewhere. Let me get this thing mounted, and then we'll plug this into the Dakota Digital module. All right, now I've ran my wire from the CAN bus on the Terminator to the main harness. This is the output coming from the Terminator X. It's going in through the firewall, put a little grommet in. That's going to plug into this, but I'm going to go ahead and plug this part in now, so I don't have to find anything under the dash. This is the output harness. It's going to go from the BIM module over to the Dakota Digital module. There it is, as easy as that. Now let's get this mounted. It needs to be somewhere where I can see these numbers, I guess. And then we'll plug this into the Dakota Digital. The Dakota Digital, mine is the HDX. Around. There it is, folks. I couldn't manipulate my thumb, but there it is. Now we're plugged in. Don't pay attention to all these other wires. Geez, we got a lot of them. We're gonna have to sort them all out too, but now our Dakota Digital is plugged in to our BIM module. So let me get my Dakota Digital module mounted back up, and then I'm gonna try to find a place to mount the BIM module. To be honest with you, it'd be nice if I could just somehow anchor it up here somewhere, but then I couldn't. I don't know, maybe I can Velcro it to the other side. I mean, very simple, I may just try to Velcro it. I don't know. Okay, now that I've got the BIM module plugged in with a little supplied harness that goes from the output to where it says BIM IO on the back side of the HDX module. Now I'm just going to plug it in. This is coming from our Terminator. This is the other side. This is the input. So let's get this plugged in, then I'll mount it. Okay, now I don't have my Terminator turned on. It's not even just the main harness is wired in. So nothing is open just yet. All right, Trish just came up with a good idea. She said, why don't you just Velcro it to the side of the kick panel, at least for now anyway, before we go drilling holes and everywhere. And yes, the wires are, we're working on it. All right, so it's hooked up. Again, I don't know what's gonna, I know my Terminator, my Dakota Digital's hooked up. They all come on. I'm gonna turn the key on and see if this lights up. So give me a second. Okay. So our BIM is lit up. It says bus. It's got a blinking light. So I'm not sure what that means, but I'm thinking about going ahead and wiring in my Terminator so it will turn on and start talking to the BIM. So let's see what happens. All right, just like that, our gauges are hooked up now. So instead of me having to run a wire from each sensor to the Dakota Digital into that module, the Dakota Digital module has a place for every single gauge point. All I had to do is just, there's one source. That was really easy, and it cleaned up the wiring. So BIM module from Dakota Digital is a win if you're using a Sniper or a Terminator X. So now our Terminator, it fired right up. It's, again, I don't have a starter. I don't have a transmission, but in the display, this is what's really neat when I spoke to Dakota Digital. I don't have anything hooked up, so I can't really tell you anything. I don't have my sensor hooked up to for the fuel pressure, but I am putting a fuel pressure sensor on it. But what will happen is I can cycle through this. It can tell me the readout on the Dakota Digital can tell me what my fuel pressure is. It can tell me what my transmission temperature is. It can tell me all sorts of things that go beyond just my analog gauges for fuel and oil pressure and RPM. But sorry folks, the radio came on and I was about to get hit with patent rights. But that's another thing, man. I figured out the retro radio. It's tied into my phone now. It's Bluetooth. So nice. So yeah, now our BIM module is hidden up there. Again, these wires, we're doing them one by one, and they're going to find a place. But our steering column's about to get boxed up, go up to Hemi Denny so he can make the mods to it. So I can go ahead and get all of the turn signal switches and brake switches and all that stuff going. But made big progress today. I know it doesn't seem like much, but now all my gauges are done. My gauges, they're talking to the Terminator. The Terminator's on, as you can see right there. Yes, I do have a red light on there, but I think that may be because I don't have my O2 sensor hooked up. I'm not sure, but it's all hooked up. Now, going to the back, and of course, our main fuse is in. Again, you see I left all that slack, so when I get the transmission in, we can go ahead and wire up the starter. I'm not going to have any problems. I don't have to buy any more zero gauge wire. So I feel pretty good about this. This is all coming together like it should be. The way I did it when I started drag racing it, I put a harness in it. It worked okay, blinkers and all that worked well, but man, I learned a lot. There's a lot of things I didn't do right. So it's not as clean as I would like it, but we are trying to clean things up. So yes, we also have to get a fuel system for this thing. So we're going to be ordering the Holley EFI ready fuel tank system. I think I'm going to get the bigger pump, the 400 liter per hour pump. You guys tell me, the 255 liter pump, if you guys think it's okay, I'll get it. it's the, like I said, the engine made 584 horsepower, so maybe I don't need the 400 liter per hour pump. You guys tell me what you think, what fuel pump I should go with, but it's going to be internal to the car, into the pump, excuse me, like a newer car, but we're going to do it just like when we do the Snipers, we did Barry's Mustang, and all these systems, it's all going to be the same way. So, yeah, slow but critical, important progress is being made. So, please hit that like button, folks, and please share and subscribe, and y'all have a great Saturday. Thanks, everybody.